So here we go, guys. This is Game of the Year 2025. It's been an amazing year so far. I'm doing my Game of the Year now, so I'm pretty set on what I want to do. If you've watched my or read my previous website, you'll know that I do 5 of the best. So I'd give you 5 games that I think were amazing, but didn't quite cut the final thing for Game of the Year, and then I'll give you my Game of the Year. Now, I'm sure Jeff Keighley's absolutely shitting himself knowing that I'm doing my Game of the Year awards and it will be out before his, but I'm sure Jeff's going to cope with that fine. So, first game is probably the most obvious game that people were talking about, and that's Expedition 33. This is the only game in this entire video that I didn't actually get to the end with and didn't finish, which I'm really gutted about. I will sit down at some point and finish it. But yeah, Expedition 33 is an absolute masterpiece. It came out of nowhere, for me anyway, and I think a lot of people didn't really understand what it was until it just arrived and just went absolutely viral. It reminds me of like one of the old school Final Fantasy games where you're taking turns in combat, you do your moves and then the enemy do their moves and so on. Each character's got their own abilities. You've got health bars, you've got different things to consider in combat. Some people just don't like that type of game, but I think for most people, the story, the sound, the voice acting, and just the general layout of the game kind of like surpassed that, so maybe brought more people in. But it definitely is worth saying that most people who played this game this year have absolutely had a blast with it. And yeah, I think this is going to pick up a lot of Game of the Year awards at the Game Awards, and also I believe it did very well at the Golden Joysticks as well. So yeah, an amazing game, and like I said, I'm gutted I didn't finish it, but I will at some point over Christmas probably. So our next game is Spider-Man 2. I absolutely love the character of Spider-Man. He's probably my favourite Marvel character, and to get a Spider-Man game when we did way back in the day with the first Spider-Man game that Insomniac did was just incredible. They absolutely nailed everything about the character, his movement, traversal, his powers. The voice acting and the general layout of the game was amazing. So yeah, and then we got Miles Morales, which was a bit smaller but equally good. Develops Miles' character very well. And then yeah, we got Spider-Man 2. It originally came out on PS5. That's where I played it first time. Yep, I double dipped. I just wanted to play it, so I got it on PS5 first. But yeah, we finally got it on PC this year. Now, unfortunately, it didn't arrive in the best state. It came with some pretty hefty performance issues and also a crashing bug as well, which didn't help the situation. So obviously, the videos ensued on YouTube for a couple of days, you know, like Spider-Man 2 broken. It wasn't broken, but it wasn't far off. They've patched it since. It now runs pretty well. The crashing issues have been fixed, as far as I know, for me anyway. So yeah, Spider-Man 2... I actually prefer the first game in terms of villains. I thought the roster of villains was much more impressive, but they did a great job with Venom in this game, and it was great to see some other characters getting some screen time as well. The controls were very much the same, but they also evolved the game a bit by adding the wingsuit. Now this was a bit controversial because some people thought it was taking too much away from what Spider-Man does in terms of traversal. I actually personally quite liked it. You've now got the option to glide around like Just Cause 3, or go for more traditional swinging from the webs. The game looks amazing, obviously, and yeah, I generally thought it was a really great game. Once they got past the performance issues, I can still now recommend it. Next up, we have Dying Light: The Beast. This actually started out as a DLC for Dying Light 2, a game that I thought was a definite downgrade on the first game, which I, at the time, labelled as the best zombie game ever made. So yeah, Dying Light: The Beast had a lot to live up to. Thankfully, I think they nailed it with this sequel. It's definitely a step up from Dying Light 2 in many ways. They've really nailed down the combat. The actual damage models are far more meaty. You got pieces of heads coming off, and just generally a more satisfying way of dispatching the zombies. The parkour is still excellent, and I was definitely worried that we would lose something in a more open type of map like this is. But thankfully, they've used lots of assets in really interesting ways, like telegraph poles and big pylons, large buildings, like really close to each other, and then wide open areas that have like interesting aspects to them. I can't say more, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, in terms of the graphics as well, a really nice improvement. The game looks amazing, got a really nice time of day sequence going on, and the characters as well were surprisingly good. Great voice acting, good face animation as well. Lots of action sequences that included people actually doing things, which I really wanted. So the only downside to the game really for me was the actual skill system. It was okay in this game, and I thought that it used some interesting things. You do feel like a different creature, which Kyle is now. He's more than human. He's partly volatile. But apart from the beast mode, you don't ever really feel like, to me, like you're actually evolving. I was hoping for some more interesting traversal options like tethers or tendrils coming out when he was running around. A bit like that game Prototype. That really did like lean into that kind of like idea. But yeah, it's okay, and it does the job. So there we go, that's Dying Light the Beast. If you're a fan of the first game and even the second game, this is definitely one you want to check out. Next up we got Battlefield 6. So this was a real return to form for the Battlefield series. After Battlefield 3 and 4, I felt like the series just went on a downward trajectory. Battlefield 1 was okay, I liked the theme, but it was just starting to lose traction. And obviously the latest Battlefield before this, 2142, it did not hit at all and had loads of problems, bugs, just loads of issues, technical issues. So yeah, they really need to nail it with this one, and I think they did. They brought Battlefield back to where the fans wanted it. A really good, solid shooter, really nice level design. Everything just seems to work really well. The guns feel great to fire, and yeah, apart from the fact well, how do I put this? They kind of fucked it up a week later with the DLC, adding like paid promotions. The battle passes here straight away. It's just like, yeah, the money train has landed straight after. I think they could have left this for a couple of months just to simmer. People were just logging in and playing and loving it as it was. And I also don't think the Battle Royale mode has also landed very well. I mean, it's okay, but Battlefield isn't a Battle Royale. It's Battlefield. So if EA would just get out of their own way, this could be a really long-term, excellent return to form for Battlefield. So the last of the bunch of best of 5, and this is the one that came close. This would have been my game of the year if it hadn't been the one that is game of the year, and this is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This game is astoundingly good. It is one of the best games I've ever played, in fact, and there's nothing I can say bad about it. Everything about this game is exquisite. The sound, the characters, the music, the world design, the way the game brings you into the experience, the way the game makes you feel like you're a part of this living, breathing world. And yeah, the team at Warhorse Studios, they just poured their hearts and souls into this game and made it what it is. So there have actually already been some DLCs for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. One's called Brushes with Death, one's called Mysteria Ecclesiae, I think that's how you pronounce it, and one's called Legacy of the Forge. I thought Legacy of the Forge was the most interesting. It allows you to expand on the actual aspects of the game and also like put yourself in your own kind of like place in the world. You can build your own like place to live, basically. And yeah, I really enjoyed that out of the first game, one of the DLCs, allowing you to build your own house. I hope they release more DLC. This game is a wonderful canvas for more adventures for Henry and his friends. And yeah, if you've not played it and you love anything to do with this type of game, you absolutely must play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Just whispers. Distant cracks of thunder. No one paid attention. I wish we did.
So, my game of the year for 2025 is Raiders. This game came out of nowhere for me, like many games this year. I kind of seen trailers a couple of months ago. They look good, but I didn't really fully understand what we were getting here until I actually sat down and played I think it was the last closed beta before the game's release. This game is an evolution. It takes gaming to a new place. They have done so many things with the gameplay, but also the level design and the enemy design. So, long story short, this game is a PvE, PvP game. So you're entering a world where there are PvE enemies, that's computer controlled enemies, and the team have actually taught them how to move themselves using AI. They've taught the walkers how to move around the environments, how to fly, how to navigate objects, and so you see this in the gameplay. You see these computer controlled enemies moving around themselves and making decisions that we don't usually see in games, which makes them formidable enemies. And that is one of the key pillars of this game, is that when you walk into these different maps, these enemies, they do threaten you in ways that normally you don't get threatened with in games. And that is it's a shock to the system. You're like, whoa, what's going on? This enemy just flanked me. This enemy just worked out that it can get through a gap if it just bangs one of its jets on the debris. It's amazing to play. But that is only half of the story. The other half is that all these maps are open to other players, and that's where the balance comes in. Other players come across your path. They can either shoot you, or they can work with you, they can chat to you, they can ignore you, they can just run past you. And the dynamic between these three pillars, you, other players, and the Orc, is what makes this game so damn special. So I covered most of this in my review, but the irony of this game is that it is about AI attacking the human race. And the game has also received, well, Embark Studios, the developers, have also received a little bit of criticism for the way they have handled the way the text-to-speech voice works for the quests. They've used real voice actors to then generate an AI-driven quest generator. So they can add new quests, change parameters, and then they can just spit out new voices based on this model. Now, the actual voices themselves are AI generated, and so this obviously speeds up their production. It speeds up the pipeline, lets them do DLC faster and all that kind of stuff. And hats off to them. They are evolving game design, and I think this is it's just going to happen anyway, whether we like it or we don't. But obviously, new technology, new ideas, and it always hits some resistance, because ultimately, some people are right. Like, this will cost people jobs, but it's like the internet, or buying games in shops, or library books. Things do change, and unfortunately, this is one of these things. And this game has kind of sparked that debate about AI and how that affects game development. But that aside, this game has landed and is going absolutely crazy. People are loving this game. It's done so well so far, and I don't see how it's going to get stopped. The graphics are gorgeous. The actual performance of the game is surprisingly good. This is on an Unreal 5 engine game, and we're just used to it being jittery and messy with that engine. But this is great. This is smooth. It runs great. There's no server problems I've encountered, and even running around, it feels like there's so much to explore. There's hidden areas, there's Easter eggs, and you can kind of see why some people have been asking for this to be a single player game, because I can see this being a really interesting world. But like I've said, what makes this game special is that dynamic between players and computer controlled enemies. So Raiders is my game of 2025, and hats off to them. They've done so well. So well done, Embark Studios. So as this is my first video for Game of the Year, I wanted to add another little section I've been planning to do for a while now. I'm calling this Early Doors. This is my nod to any games that are still in early access, but I still feel like they could do with like some coverage because they've done really well, or they show a lot of promise. And the first game I want to talk about is Enshrouded. This game is amazing. It's like everything I wanted in like my own personal action RPG. It's based on voxels, so the whole world can be destroyed, dug into, modified, blasted, and it just breaks apart like tiny little pieces of Lego, little particles, all waiting for you to like just dig into it. I love it, and it's not the only part of the game that I love either. Like the combat is decent, but the graphics just so inviting. Like when you go into the shroud, you can feel it almost like pressing in on you. When you're out of the shroud, the actual game world itself is gorgeous. They've done so well with the engine. They modified the lighting engine recently, and now nighttime feels like nighttime. It feels like that dark, oppressive force around you, and so you really do relish having a torch or a weapon that like pours light into the environment. You can also spend a lot of time building your own settlements as well. There's a really nice way of creating foundations and walls, roofs, and like I said, because of the voxel system, it just feels like a really intuitive way of building things. They also recently added a new biome which came with water. Now they've actually added procedural water to the entire game world. So now when you find a lake in the world, you can go down, dig a little trench, and then as the water is released into that trench, it procedurally moves into that trench like real water does. Yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had here with water, and I hope they use it even more moving forward. There are boss fights, there are hidden areas, there are chambers, and the best part about all this is you can make your own server and invite up to 10 friends into your game world. So this, in a way, can also be seen as like a small MMO, and playing with other people in this game is a lot of fun. So yeah, Enshrouded, I'm really looking forward to seeing this come out in 2026. So Grounded was a game that myself and my friends played a hell of a lot when it first came out. I just love the aesthetic of this game. Now we've seen survival games before, games where you build bases and you've got to like progress through tech trees and stuff, but it's just the whole theme in this game. They've used it so well, and it feeds into everything you do, like finding food from discarded hot dogs, like berries that are dropped down from trees. Like blades of grass look like trees themselves, finding dewdrops for water. It all just works so well. So when they announced a sequel, I was quite surprised because it seemed quite quickly after the first game. And yeah, we all jumped into early access a couple of months ago, and yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. There's been a slight bump in graphical fidelity, so it looks really good, and it did before, but this is like another level up. The gameplay is still very similar, but obviously now we're not in a garden, we're in a park. So they've used that to kind of like reinvent some of the original themes. Now, I've not played this properly since it first launched into early access. I believe the latest patch drops with a bit of a bump, so we'll see what happens with that. But the next themed update will be the water biome. I think we're expecting that early in 2026. But yeah, if you're after a survival game with a unique setting, this definitely is recommended. It is, yeah, it's looking good. So the last game in my early doors section is No Rest for the Wicked. I am so excited about this game. It's got so much potential. It first came out in early access in April 2024, and since then we've had a few updates and then one big update called The Breach. I think overall the Breach was seen as like a really good update. We had 2 new biomes added, 2 new areas. We had a new weapon, or maybe 2 new weapons. Yeah, 2 new weapons, and just a whole lot more to do. This game has so much potential. I hope they add things like farming. I just want to be in the world. I just want to like explore. At the moment, you can have your own house, do your own crafting, and just every part of this game just makes you want to try new things, explore, and see what they have to offer. The much requested co-op version is coming out, I think it's spring 2026. This will add the ability to have other players in your game world, so you'll be able to start a game world and then explore, fight together, like visit each other's houses, I assume. But yeah, that will add a new dynamic, and I'm really looking forward to trying it with friends. So yeah, that is No Rest for the Wicked. That's my final game in my Game of the Year awards. So, as most of you will know, the actual Game Awards themselves are coming out later this week. I'll be very much looking forward to seeing how things do. I suspect Expedition 33 will do very well, but also looking forward to the trailers. There are usually games unveiled, and there's some rumours about maybe Elden Ring 2, so I better get my arse in gear and play Elden Ring 1 because I've never actually played that game properly yet. But I do appreciate you all. Thank you for stopping by. And if you stayed this long, I would love it if you would give me a like, subscribe if you can. And also, yeah, leave a comment. What do you think will be Game of the Year? What is your personal Game of the Year as well? Like, which one has really gelled with you? And I will see you all in the next video. I think it will be the Skate review next. So yeah, see you all then. Take care, guys. Bye.